liked that.
Bam. Welcome back to What I Learned This Week. Hi. Oh, that's my
the bells
live
are
stream.
ringing.
It's time to live stream.
There we go.
iPhone is going off. My name is Scott Fitzgerald. I'm one of your hosts for What I Learned This Week, along with my lovely co-host, Renee Schultz-Jacobson, also known as Nay J or Nay.
True story. Hi, everyone.
True story. True story. But
I'll answer to anything.
we're here to continue our little voyage into figuring out what we learned over the course of a week, and for our own personal growth, and hopefully maybe your own personal growth. You can identify with some of the things that we've learned. And
Hopefully not. I hope people I hope people listen and go, "Whew, my week was."
Thank God I didn't go through that.
Right, my week was easy compared to that.
And of course, we're on our page. We have a Facebook page that's active right now, and if you've liked it, thank you very much.
We're figuring it out.
We're figuring it out. So we should be broadcasting on the What I Learned This Week page, along with my personal page, my Rockvox, YouTube, your personal page. I don't know. We're all over the place.
Basically, we're bombarding everyone.
Yes.
All our friends.
All one person who's watching right now. But that's fine. We'll get you on the replay.
That's right.
You don't have to be live to appreciate the genius that is this show. Am I laying it on a little thick?
A little bit.
A little bit?
A little bit. Pequeño.
Yes. So, wow. So what a week, huh?
Oh, man.
Is that bad?
God.
That bad?
I am normally you know me well enough to know I love and revel in the details, and you know some of the details of my week, but I'm learning some things. I'm pulling it back.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say this about my week to just launch right in. If you don't mind, I'm going to launch.
Go ahead, launch away.
Here is my learning while being careful, simultaneously careful. I have realized.
Don't start crying.
No, I'm laughing. That there are a lot of emotionally dysregulated people out there. As a person who works, obviously I'm an artist and I make art alone by myself and I spend a fair amount of time by myself. But then the other part of the time, I work as I offer emotional support to people coming through psychiatric medication injury and harm. And I spend a lot of time with people in crisis, right? Like there's a lot of, I'm not good. I can't make it.
And that alone is draining, and it pulls every little piece of you away. I totally get that. My wife works in medicine, and she gives and gives and gives all day long, and then when she comes home, it's like, it's draining.
But I think what it's also done for me, and I wonder if this is true for your wife too, that because I'm surrounded by so much crisis, like everything's up here. It's you know what I mean? Like level 11, Yes. And I almost am having a harder time. Well, let me just say this. Everything's always heightened. And so I'm used to that. I've gotten used to that kind of level of crisis. And so what I'm seeing in my life on the daily is that there seem to be two different kinds of people in my world. There seem to be I imagine that these are the people that come to my house. I mean this metaphorically, not that these people would come to my house. Please don't. But imagine these people coming to your house. One of them is somebody that you really like. And you're like, hi, come on in. And they're like, no, I'm just going to stay out here. I'm just going to stay out here. In fact, I'm not even going to come on your stoop. You can shout to me from the end of the driveway.
That's right.
So they're super walled and very guarded.
Yeah.
And I seem to be drawn to these people, probably because of the other type of person, which is what I mostly work with, which is the people who, if they come to your house, you open the door and say hello, and they go, hello! woo! And they bust in the door.
Tackle you.
And they're like, yes, and they're on you. And they're like, what do you got to eat? And they go in your fridge and they're like,
Wow.
what's in the medicine cabinet?
Those,
And
don't invite those people over.
you don't invite them in. They just
They
come in.
invite themselves.
They open the windows and come in. And what I've realized is that I seem to draw the extremes. And this is crazy because I'm sure there are plenty of people who think that I am too much. But
I could see that. But they just that's a superficial,
well, this on the spectrum, it's like the slider, right? Of like,
Yeah.
whoop, and I'm sure for some people I'm way up here, but it's always shocking when I meet other people where it's like, whoop, wow, they're more than I am.
Yeah.
And I would just say that I experienced both this week.
Yeah.
I experienced trying to chase after someone who I have cared about for a long time and to try and have a basic level heart-to-heart conversation with the person at the end of the driveway. But tell me how you feel. How do you? I'm just gonna stay over here. In fact, I'm gonna go for a walk.
The flags.
Right. Not even flags. Not even flags. That would be like an attempt.
Oh.
Just like I'm going for a walk. See ya. Walking out.
You keep talking. I'll be right back.
I'll be walking.
Yeah.
So I tried really hard to connect with one person, and then the other end, I had to disconnect. I had to be the person at the end of the driveway and be like, nice seeing you, but yeah. I just can't. And it's on the one hand, I was going to walk in here today and say something like, where are my mature adults at? Like, where are the emotionally regulated normal people at? Why do I seem to have such a wide swing of the pendulum? I wasn't going to say spectrum, but okay. Pendulum. Yeah. Why does it swing so wide? And I think that's the thinking that I did this week. I'm like, really the processing that I did this week about, and I've come to that understanding of myself that I think that the work that I do is the two kinds of work that I do is at those two polar ends of the extreme. When I'm an artist and I'm super quiet and alone and all by myself, then I crave people. And so I look for those people with all the energy. And then when I'm working with the people who are in crisis, then I want to be with someone who's a little more pulled in.
Yeah.
And I'm having a very difficult time finding sort of
a happy medium.
The middle.
Yeah.
I'm really.
That's a tough one. That's really a tough one.
And then the question is there a middle? Right.
Right.
That's like the normal. And after COVID, like I don't think anyone's.
And how much of this is happenstance mixed with your life choices, what you do, the art and helping people in crisis. And how much of it is just a roll of the dice, and that's just the way it happened.
Are there people out there that are just not experiencing this? Like, are there people who just are like going to the gym and like?
There might be some people that they go about their day, their week, their month, their year, and pretty much nothing happens. And they could either love that, or maybe they're looking at what you got and going, "I'd love that kind of
drama."
Well.
I mean, I understand
the
what
drama
you're saying.
Does.
I
there are certain types of people who not all that maybe they don't attract the drama, maybe they create the drama, but they're constantly surrounded by that drama. Some of it's self-created and some of it's attracted.
Yeah.
But we all know those people. That there's always some crisis.
Don't you think people think that about me? Oh my God.
I don't know.
I
can't say what other people think. I know how you. I see.
I've just.
It's the superficial. I wouldn't. I don't know. I don't think that.
I hate the word drama. That's one of those like things that like men say on dating sites. Like
too much drama.
I don't want any drama, and it's like, well, you mean you don't want any emotions,
right?
But because that is
drama
a lot
is funny too.
Right. I was trying to think of like a, drama or whatever.
Fussy.
Right, fussy. Hands, jazz hands. Oh, I just banged that. But right. That's what I was trying to think of, something fun like that. But But
Twyla.
right, all that's good. But there's the stuff where it just feels like it's overtaking. And as a person who I consider myself and have identified myself as an empath. So I really do feel people's vibration, like if somebody's needing so much and draining me like an emotional vampire, I've come to suck your energy. I can't hang out with those people all the time. But by the same token, if someone's just a flatliner, like I literally call these people, like you were just referring to, the people who like have nothing going. They're just
Clear.
They're just do the same thing every day
Yep.
and day. I call them breathers. Why are you here? If you're just getting up every day at the same time, doing the same thing, got nothing going, nothing changes, go to your same cubicle, do the same work. When I get overwhelmed like this, I think I should just go back to being a secretary. I was a good secretary. Just tell me what to type.
The Lester Barnums of the world.
Oh, I don't know who Lester Barnum is.
Oh, that's from, is it Barnum or Burnham? It's from American Beauty, that movie with Kevin Spacey. Which
was
we
he
probably
Lester
should-
Barnum?
Yeah.
Wasn't he the teacher? Was he a teacher?
No.
He was the creepy guy who ended up like, am I confusing this movie?
I think maybe. Maybe you are.
I might be. Isn't that the one where there's like something blowing or a bag blowing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I know the movie. I'm like,
He goes-
I know the symbol.
It
attached.
starts out, well,
I thought he was the teacher. Well, anyway,
No,
it doesn't
he
matter.
wasn't.
But I'll have to review Lester Barnum.
Yeah.
But I don't understand that. Oh, he was bored. He
Yeah.
was bored. But
He
at
was
least
on the
he was
route.
self-aware that he was bored.
I suppose, but he was too
Haven't seen it.
timid and too spineless to do anything about it. Oh. Until he finally was able to. But he went to the
wasn't
extreme.
Appropriate, right?
And then it ended up being his
well,
undoing. But
right. He like sought something that was not healthy, like a
teenage girl.
which is like a drug, right? Like you're seeking something that it's the same thing, whatever your drug is, it's that hit of something.
But it's the same idea where it was the humdrum every day going through life with zero. It's flatline, just like you said.
So I wonder if those people that are like the walled types are drawn to me because to them.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I know for a fact, well, I can't say I know for a fact. I have a hunch.
Show me your research. Show me the data.
On this graph here, empaths,
We draw them.
you draw them in. I know you do, whether you do it intentionally or not intentionally or however it works in the universe and, frou-frou, woo-woo crap, it happens. Mm-hmm. It's like moths to a flame.
Interesting. Well,
Because Kelly, my wife, is an empath. And she is the center of so many different stories. People bring their stories to her to
always.
to unload,
But I
to
love that.
help solve. Yeah, I mean,
I love hearing people's stories. I love meeting people.
Sure.
So that's the part that I have a hard time modulating. I love meeting people. But as my
It's finite.
hairdresser, shout out Michael Livernash, once said to me.
now that's a name.
Yeah. Shout out Michael Livernash at Isabel's Salon, as my hairdresser said, you don't have to invite them home.
That's true. That's true. And Michael, that'll be $50
Right?
for that mention.
I'll tag him in the show notes.
What's your Venmo?
right. But true. I like to shout out to somebody every show, but yeah. So that's my week, and I so the only thing I was going to say about it is, so then the question that sometimes I like to just round it out with is like, so what do I do? What do you do when you're feeling like,
Well, that's the thing.
right?
You're I don't know what it is. You're taught. It's finite. What you have to give is finite. There's an end to it. It's just like willpower. Just like when you're going through what they say when you're going through addiction recovery and the 12-step programs and stuff. It says you can't rely on willpower because it isn't infinite. It's finite. You will run out of willpower. And it's the same thing when you're dealing with people and you're trying to help people and you're an empath. You're going to run out of that ability to be able to help them.
Totally the same thing.
You have to recharge. You have to resort back to your quiet time, your artwork, whatever it is.
Right. So that's what I was going to say is that for me, so what I had to realize, because I was getting really upset on both ends of the thing. I have this person I'm trying to reach, and I'm like, I'm chasing this person, doesn't want me, and this person can't get him out of my house.
Right.
Does, get out. And I went, I gotta just close the shutters and and go into my basement. And so I was just going to show you what I did this week.
Oh, yeah.
So this was this is all wrapped up in plastic because it is purchased, whatever. But you probably saw it on Facebook.
It looks better in person.
Does it?
Yes, it does.
I know, isn't it? It's so much better. They're always better in person for some reason.
Now,
people always say that when they get them, too. They're like, it's so much better in person.
How long does it take you to do something like that?
I did this, well, I should say, this took like 20 hours. It's like that, the Rice Krispies commercial where the woman like splashes flour on her face.
Oh, yeah.
And she's like, oh, so hard to make those Rice Krispie treats. And it's really just Rice Krispies and marshmallows
in
the microwave. So quite honestly, I did this in my Zoom art class on Wednesday night. It took me an hour and a half plus a skinch extra. So we'll call it 2 hours. And
that's paint?
It's all the things. It's acrylic paint. It's watercolor. It's collage. It's oil pastel, it's colored pencils, it's a lot of things. But this grounds me. When you are creating something, your brain cannot go off and be worrying about things. And so I just went and did it, and I felt immediately better, immediately grounded, centered. And I was like, this is my medicine. Like, this is my absolute medicine. You can't paint all day long. I mean, you can, but it centers me, and it gives me just enough space around what's going on so I can get some perspective and go, I know what this means. I got to stop chasing that, and I got to close things down over here too. And and it really gives me the time to process it.
That's what music used to be for me, playing music.
Just going to say to you.
Playing guitar, playing drums back in the days when I used to. It was just a jam. But even when I was in a band and we had, 15 original songs and we would go through the set, and the set was 50 minutes long. We would go through the set 3 times a night, 3 nights a week. And it was like, that's what we did.
It's like a meditation.
But it really was. It was just so much. It was medicine. It really was. And I missed that. So I have to come up with something else.
This doesn't do it for you. I don't mean this, I don't like me. I just mean like with the work that, this doesn't keep you.
Well, this does this show.
Yeah. Because
I'm able to stop everything and actually try to reflect and think about and have a fun conversation.
Yeah. Well, because there's community and connection associated with it. Right?
So pretty much it's the same thing. Any kind of creative outlet.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I've just been not able to really do the creativity that I used to do.
Is it a time thing for you? Are you just so?
I don't know. It's hard. Well, it's like writing used to be a big thing for me. Mm-hmm. I haven't been able to really write in a long time. Write in a creative storytelling way. Creative writing.
So I'm going to just say something. This is going to be so boring. We'll lose our one listener, but oh, hi everyone. That writing is the highest. It is the hardest activity, right? It uses they do MRIs of people's heads of when they're watching television or listening to whatever. Writing lights up the whole entire brain because you have to have the idea. You have to put the idea into some kind of words. It has to transfer out through your hand or and then there's motor controls, motor skills or typing or whatever. And then it has to keep doing it over and over again.
I would love to see my MRI because it looked like a broken neon sign that's going.
Well, no.
Eat it, O's.
But what I was going to say is we're not getting a lot. What's happening is people are not getting. We're not practicing it as much now because we consume videos. We're not practicing the skill, and it feels hard to do writing.
Now, think back. I remember we had this conversation before when you were talking about looking back at.
Why are you pointing at me?
I'm excited about this thought.
Okay.
I'm gonna throw it.
Don't point at me. It's scaring me.
You talked about your looking back at your first painting, your first piece of art, back when you were going through your recovery, the initial when this all started, and you look back at that and you're like, oh my, you almost
my primitive stage.
Yes, and it's like, it's
Cringy,
right? Cringy, but that evolution is amazing and fascinating to look at from here. But what would happen to your skill and everything that you're doing right now if you were to take a year off? I know it would be impossible. You can't even fathom that. But if you did not do any art for the next year, where would your skill and your talents lie in that point when you tried to jump back in? Would it be primitive again? I mean, it's the whole riding a bike thing,
it's
but
such a hard thing for me to imagine because, quite honestly, I wouldn't make it a year.
It's impossible.
I mean, that's my. I'd honestly.
You'd go insane.
I feel myself
starting
like
to
getting
get
emotional about it. I'm
Yeah.
like, it is my coping skill.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that feels like prison.
So,
but what I would have to do, honestly, because I've already done it once because it was developed while I was going through it. Writing was always my thing. I was a teacher. I was a writer. I was an English teacher. And I couldn't write when I was injured, when my brain was injured. So I started painting because that was all I could do. If that happened again now, I guess what I'm trying to calm myself down now and think is that I would have to find something else. I would have to find something else. There would have to be something else to fill it. I don't know what that thing is.
Take that idea and add this to the mix. Some people
don't
have that at all.
Right.
There might be something, but they don't know what it is.
Right. Well, because it requires going out of your comfort zone to find it, which is why, they say when you're having these feelings like distress in your life or sadness, depression, you got to go do something different, like try a language or go to a club or try a new recipe or, that's where the excitement is. Go horseback riding, try an activity, archery, whatever activity.
I'm going to learn Esperanto.
What's Esperanto?
Look it up.
Is it a dance?
It's an old dead language from the early 1900s.
Like the Yiddish?
No, not like Yiddish. Somebody invented
Sorry,
Esperanto.
my Yiddish speakers out there for calling.
I would absolutely love to be able to speak Yiddish. Just to walk up to someone and start speaking Yiddish that understood it.
Gesundheit dein Cup.
What does that mean?
Bless your head.
Okay.
It's like
That's
I would go
weird. Bless your head.
Achoo! My grandma would say, Gesundheit dein Cup. Cup is head. There's a lot of, I could bombard you with Yiddish right now, but I'm not a fluent Yiddish speaker, but I know enough to know the common.
You know about my fascination with Judaism.
I do.
So.
I know. Do you know that I have a few friends? I have a shout out Bobby Wilkins in North Carolina, one of my closest friends.
$25.
She's from North Carolina. She's a white woman, down North Carolina, and she is all about the Jews. She's like loves me and wants to know everything about Jewish people and the culture.
Well,
she wants me to give her recipes all the time. And I tell her I made matzo balls. She's like, "You made matzo ball soup? Oh, I wish I lived closer to you. I would give you grits and you could make me matzo balls." Anyway, but
I have a Nussbaum in my family. My great grandmother is a Nussbaum from Germany.
Wow. Does that mean you really loved it? Like,
I have 6% Ashkenazi
oh,
Jew.
wow. Interesting.
Yeah,
well,
we're getting off topic.
We are off topic. But anyway, just to
That's the next show, right. Genealogy with Raz.
Right. If only we could edit. But all I'm getting at is just that what was I getting at? Where were we going with that?
I totally screwed
Show
up.
over. No, you didn't. No, I don't know. I don't know where we were going
Language,
with that.
What does matter?
Oh, just learning new things. You have to find something.
Yes, learning new things. Thank you for reeling us back in.
Yeah, you had to find something new to inspire yourself. Because really think about this. When is the last time that you did something totally new? I know when it is for you.
For me? Mm-hmm. Oh, do tell.
No, I'm going to let you figure it out. When did you? Well, maybe you don't want to share it. When did you can be vague about it? It's not totally new, but you had a response to a podcast that you had to do and you thought you sucked it up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Do you know why you had that reaction?
My imposter syndrome kicked in.
Say it in a different way.
I was not sure of myself.
You didn't know the information. Right? So that's how that feels when you don't know how to do something. If you've never painted, you've never been on a horse, you've never touched a snake.
I'm afraid of horses.
Are you?
Yeah.
Oh, we're going
They're so big.
We're going horseback
They're
riding.
so big. And I always get the one that like wants to reach around and bite me. And
we're going horseback riding.
But I heard that that's my fault, not the horses.
Well, you have to rein them in.
They can sense that I'm a...
Mm-hmm. I can do it with anybody else. I can do it with animals. Seem to have trouble with the people. Can't rein in the people.
Well, stop putting a bridle on them and maybe they won't buck you.
Stop riding them. Get off the horse.
Okay. So,
get off the ride.
We have like 4 minutes left.
Is that it?
Yeah.
What about your week?
So
it can't be 4 minutes. I talked the whole time. Go, your week.
My week. So I actually forgot what I was going to talk about because I was so enthralled in your week. But
no. Don't try to get out of it.
My week, it was really just about remembering to communicate. Communicating. Not trying to protect the other person. You know, like if I have something I need to discuss, I have to discuss it and not say, oh, I don't want to burden you with these problems because that's just bad. It causes problems down the line. Maybe right now it's okay, but down the line, then the communication starts to break up.
Yeah.
So for me, this week was remember to communicate. Remember to take that moment and say, this is how I feel. This is what's going on.
What is the maybe I'm projecting here, but what is when you say that you're worried about being a burden on someone,
mm-hmm.
What is the underneath that? Like, what's the worry of if you shared, like, what's the worry that the person won't be able to handle it or?
That the person already has too much BS to deal with and I don't want to add any more.
Where does that come from for you?
Probably just my desire to not be a problem.
Which comes from where?
I don't know. There is the couch. Should we lie on the couch and you tell me about your childhood?
We talk after the show. Interesting. I'm sure it's old stuff, right? That like somebody said, go get him.
Be gone with you.
Right, go play. You know?
Go play in traffic, kid.
Go outside. Leave me alone.
I don't know. I don't know. I'll tell you what, though. The therapy that I went through a few years back really was, shout out to Ann Graham. You are the best. I love you.
$50.
$50. 75. No, I'm just kidding. But I firmly believe this. I don't care who you are. I don't care how adjusted you may think that you are. Even if it's once a year, which you probably need more than that. Go and get yourself like 4 sessions of therapy, 1-hour sessions. And I'm telling you, it's going to be transformative for you. And you might think everything's fine, but that little bit, it's just like going to the doctor, right? You want to go to the doctor, get a checkup, make sure everything's good. Hey, we found this thing on your back that you can't see.
Right. Greatest gift you can give yourself.
It really is.
Greatest gift. And I'll just even say, it's like, we know, like you just said, going to the doctor, there are things that we need to have checked. And the same way, if you ever like saw, I always talk about this, like a clogged drain, right? Like you would call a plumber for that to snake that out. And sometimes there are people that can help with the emotional stuff too, and is the best gift you can give not only yourself, but it changes all your relationships.
And I don't want to hear, folks have to break that stigma of you only go to therapy because there's something wrong, or that idea that you're weak, that you can't deal with your own problems and you have to go. Remember that used to be the big thing, like he's in therapy.
Right.
He's in therapy.
Right.
No, it's not like that at all.
No.
And
it's like the clog. Why you want to wait till it gets to be the big, sloppy, messy, gross thing and nothing's going down? Deal with it, when it starts to get slow. It's like,
Right.
something's getting stopped up here. I'm going to go clean this out now, early, before the whole system breaks down.
Sounds like you need more fiber,
Right,
actually.
I think I need new garbage disposal, but but my point is that like don't wait till it gets like that. That's
Yeah.
what therapy is that's the thing where it chops it up and you get the new and then things are flowing again.
Yes. What you brought a bunch of other stuff. Is there?
No, it's just stuff I got to mail.
Oh, okay.
Nothing. I sold stuff this week. So
Oh, okay, good.
I made some new magnets. Thank you. It was so that's all in balance. The only thing that's out of balance is the people, and that's I'm back balanced.
And you know what? It's a process.
I think it's
We can't fix all our problems in 1 week. We can't fix them in a day.
I don't
in
think it's
a month.
fixable.
No.
I mean, if you're gonna
Some people are not.
I think if you're going to if you allow people, new people, to come into your life the way that I do, I'm always going to have to be sorting.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to see it as my problem or a weakness. It's like I try to connect with people, and some people don't want to connect, and some people
Overconnect.
overshare, and it's like, wow, it's a lot. And I have to find my place in the middle to modulate it. It's just that's my job.
Yeah, because some people just they don't have that monitor. They don't know that. Okay, that's we just met, so maybe back off a bit.
I think
let's learn. Know each other for 6 months.
I think a lot of those people are medicated. Is what comes out of that they're using medication
And what do you
or
do?
alcohol or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Because it's like their inhibitions. They're not realizing, not reading the room.
Are you able to tell that person, I think you need to see someone, or I think you need to.
I will say to someone,
that would be hard for me to do.
I tell them pretty directly, I'm pretty uncomfortable with the way you're interacting with me right now.
See,
I'm not sure if you're aware, but
that's really, really amazing. And some people might think it's rude.
A lot of people think it's rude. That's
But
why
it's
I have
not rude.
no
it's
friends.
It's honest.
I'm
And how many times? Who's the one? Many men leading a life of quiet desperation. Was that like D.H. Lawrence or one of those guys? I don't know.
I'm going to Google
Walt
it.
Whitman,
Google
something like
it
that.
right now.
Leading a life of quiet desperation, and that kind of fits into that. Like, speak up for yourself.
Totally.
Tell
Thoreau.
Henry David, my pal.
That, yeah. Out in the woods. TD.
And that's something that I'm still working on. To not to be like, hey, I don't appreciate that. It's really hard to do if you've never done it. Some people, you're used to it.
I've learned.
You've learned.
I've had a lot of, I went to an inpatient psychiatric hospital. Like
and you can
already.
learn that story.
But that's what you learn there. That's what you learn. That's the curriculum. If you go to a good one, you learn how to process your emotions, how to talk about them with people. And now I'm like, when I'm going to tell someone the truth about how I'm feeling, and you can't do it in a like, you're making me feel that, it's
Right.
not
It's
that.
gotta
It's like,
be-
look, I gotta be really honest with you. This is very uncomfortable for me. I need a minute. Or
Adult.
Right.
Adult.
But it just, people don't have those skills. We didn't learn them in school.
Yeah.
You threw dodgeballs at each other. People got bullied in school.
Yeah.
And if you try to say to your bully, making me,
Oh yeah. No. Then you get more bullied.
you're going to get clobbered, right?
Yeah.
So it is a mature skill, but a lot of people don't have it.
Yeah.
And I can't deal anymore with people who don't have it. And very few people have it.
Comes
you know
from
what I mean?
upbringing.
What comes from upbringing?
All of that stuff.
Having it or not having it?
It's something that you can be taught.
I had to learn it.
It's not in.
I did not have this growing up at all. This is literally like growing up. It's like trying to build I've said this before to you, I think. When you build a house, how many different types of nails do you have? Just one type of nail?
Hell no.
You got a lot of different nails, right? How many screwdrivers do you got? How many tools do you use, right? I feel like I had 3 tools that I learned in my family. Stay busy, whatever my tools were, those were my tools. And I had to learn that there's like 400 other tools over here, but I don't know how to use any of them. I was like, what does this do? So I had to learn how to improve my communication skills, and I think I'm a good communicator. But I've had to learn it. And I want to just be clear. When I say to someone what I just said to you, like, I feel really uncomfortable, it doesn't feel easy to say it.
Right.
It feels, I'm telling you, I'm feeling really uncomfortable. I feel it in my chest, or I feel it in my throat, or whatever. Like, I feel that discomfort in telling somebody how I honestly feel. And like you said, you had to communicate. When you tell someone how you're honestly feeling, it's
hard.
Very uncomfortable being vulnerable like that.
Yeah.
But then on the other side of it, what happens? Either the person meets you where you are and says, Scott,
right,
you're not burdening me. Oh my God, I knew something was up, or I had no idea. And they meet you there, or they look at you and are like, oh, this again, or they don't meet you there, and then you have to figure out how that's.
See ya.
Right?
Possibly, maybe.
I mean, that's a really hard. That's where the then. Yeah. So but those are really it. Or someone, so those are the three ways. It's someone's like, I knew something was up. I had no idea. How can I help? Or this is so exhausting to me. I can't even. And then you just have to modulate, like, how important is this person in my life? How much am I going to fight to continue this with the person who can't meet me where I am?
Well said. And on that note,
is that it? Oh my God.
It's time to wrap up. Check out razjacobson.store. I highly recommend Psychiatrized.
Thank you.
It's a fabulous book, and of course all your artwork.
Yeah. People can check out my work. And I was going to say, I do classes on Wednesday night. The winter, at least in our region, winter's a coming.
Yeah, I mean,
and
maybe
if people want to do an online class with me on a Wednesday night, it's so much fun.
Who knows? Maybe art could be your way to reset. If you don't have one, you're never going to know unless you try stuff.
It's an easy thing to try.
Yeah. And maybe podcasting is your way.
Maybe podcasting.
Maybe you need to contact me and start a podcast.
Or a legacy.
Or a legacy cast.
Or whatever you've got. Maybe you're thinking, geez, I've got all this good information and need to share it with my family. So.
And it's rockbox.com because I took my title off there.
Or it's anywhere, just Rockbox recording on Facebook. You can find it.
Yeah.
It's just a beautiful studio, and Scott's easy to talk to, so highly recommend.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And thanks for checking out what I learned this week on our new Facebook page. And of course, you can find us on YouTube and our respective pages. But eventually it's going to end up just on the page. We're going to try to move people to the page so that we can do regular updates and have guests and all that kind of fun stuff.
Did you pick a guest for next week? Have you?
I don't have a guest just yet.
Okay.
But if you have any ideas for the show topics, or you want to be a guest, reach out through the Facebook page, What I Learned This Week.
Yes.
And we'll chat.
Yeah. We'd love to have you. I'd love to meet you. Just don't be weird.
I thought that was the actual prerequisite.
Don't come to my house and be weird.
Stand in the street.
In the studio.
All right. See you next time.
Bye, everyone. Have a good weekend. We got off on